our article so we can answer the 30 questions below.
I'll call her that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to first read it, and then each one of you guys will read a portion of our article about kites.
Yes.
And then we're going to answer
Yes, I want a kite.
answer the questions below. But before we get started, I will personally say for myself, when I read the article, I like to know what they're looking for. So I read the questions first.
Yeah, let's read.
The first question is, where were kites invented? So in my mind, I know I need to find out where they were invented. The second question is, what were the first kites made of? Now I know I need to know what were they made of. These are the points I know I need to find in my article. The third one is, how long is the longest kite? So I need to know, okay, I need to find out how long the longest kite is. So, kites. If you go to a park on a windy day, you may see someone flying a kite. Kites can be a fun toy for kids to play with. But did you know that they were first invented thousands of years ago in China? So since I've already gone over the questions, I know in my head, where were kites invented?
In China.
They were invented in China. At that point, we want to go ahead and underline that because I know I need to go back and pull that detail out to answer my question. So let's go ahead and underline kites can be a fun toy for kids to play with, but did you know that they were invented thousands of years ago in China?
Yeah, I got it. I know that.
The first kites were made from bamboo stems and silk. Kites have been used for measuring distances, sending messages, fishing, and even doing science experiments. In 1752, Benjamin Franklin flew a kite in a storm and proved that lightning was electricity. So, I think it's an important fact about what kites were made of. They were made of what?
Bamboo sticks.
Bamboo
Sticks.
So, Jones, what were kites made of? Sticks. McKinley, what were kites made of?
Bamboo, silk,
Stems.
stems, and
Silk. Silk is like a really, the soft, shiny material? That's silk. Jemiah.
Bamboo stems and silk.
Thank you. You believed another question I was going to ask.
Alright.
You already knew? Okay. So, I would highlight or underline the first kites were made from bamboo stems and silk.
Got it.
So the other information is also important. It lets you know kites have been used for measuring distances, sending messages, fishing, even doing science experiments. Those are all great supporting items regarding kites. Yes, McKinley? Yes. How are we going to fit all the words? That's a great question. We're going to figure it out. We have two lines. We can fit the words, the sentences on the lines. Kites today are all different shapes and sizes. The smallest kite that flies is only 5 millimeters tall. That is smaller than the width of your finger. So let's hold up our fingers. Kenyatta, let's hold up our finger. Jemiah, let's hold up our finger. So they're saying the smallest kite is smaller than the width of our finger. So it's, the smallest kite is smaller than this.
It's like this, Mom?
It's probably a little bigger than that. But that's a tiny, tiny kite. That's like a kite a little
Is it
mouse
tinier than
could fly.
It's
It's like a little, you know, you have a little mouse with that, with the kite running down the street.
Oh my
I'm
God, why
saying-
am I kite?
Yes, yes. That's that, when I think of that, that's what I think
It's a
of.
tiny kite in the sky. Look.
Now, the longest kite is over 3,000 feet, which is more than half a mile long.
That's shorter than my desk.
Yes, that is. A half a mile is technically 4 city
That's
blocks.
even more than my desk.
So,
1, 2.
that's more than half, so it's probably 5 city blocks. Can you imagine a kite being that long?
Dang, look at that kite. It's touching the clouds.
It would be such, that's, I mean, I don't know how they would get that in the air.
Just throw it in the air.
So, McKinley, how long is the longest kite?
3,000 mil, whatever.
No, it's right there in your article.
3,000 feet.
Yeah.
Jones, how long is the longest kite?
3,000 kite.
3,000 feet. Kenyatta, how long is the longest kite? So Kenyatta, it's right here on the article and it's right here on the board too. So what does it say? 3,000 feet. So, we're gonna go ahead and underline the longest kite is over 3,000 feet.
That's taller than a river.
Yes. So, we've read this article, we've highlighted or underlined key points in the article, we found evidence to help us answer our questions. Before we go to answering our questions, I want you guys to read the article to me out loud. So, Jones, can you get started with the first paragraph? If you go to a park.
If you go to a park on a windy day, you may see someone flying a kite. Kites can be a fun toy for kids to play with. But did you know that people give $6,000 in China?
Thank you, Jones. McKinley, can you please read paragraph number 2? The first kites
The first kite
were.
The first kites were made from bamboo stem and silk. Kites had been
Yes,
used for measuring
distances.
sending messages, fishing,
Yes.
and even doing science experiments. In 1752, Benjamin Franklin flew a kite in a storm improved that lightning was electricity.
Thank you, McKinley. Good job. Jemiah, can you read paragraph number 3? Kites today.
Kites today are all different shapes and sizes. The smallest kite that flies is 5
We're missing a word.
on 5
Millimeters.
millimeters tall. That's the small one. Then the
Width.
width of your finger. The longest kite over 3,000 feet, which is more than a half a mile long.
Good job. Thank you so much, Jemiah. So it looks like we have gathered enough evidence to answer our questions regarding kites.
I think I know all the answers.
You think you know all the answers? Okay, Jones. I'm glad that you think you know all the answers. I think you guys know all the answers
I
too.
think everyone knows that.
So, McKinley, can you tell me where were kites invented?
In China.
Yes, you are correct. Kites were invented in China. So how should we write this sentence? Let's start this, how would you start this sentence off?
Kites were invented in China thousands of years ago.
Thank you very much, Jones. I'm going to use that, but let's see what McKinley, that's an option for me to use. But let's see how McKinley will start this sentence.
Kites can be a fun toy for kids to play with, but did you know that
That they were
were invented
thousands of years ago.
in China?
Yes, that's the direct quote from the passage. So I want to know, how would you rewrite that quote to answer this question?
Kites were invented in China.
Jones, thank you very much, but I'm asking McKinley. Thank you, Jones. I do have your answer and it's in the back of my head, okay?
I do number 2.
How would you want to start it, McKinley? So you want to do a direct quote? Okay, we can do that. That is an option. But remember, you told me that we only had 2 little lines, right? You said that to me, right, McKinley? And I said, well, we can make it happen with these 2 little lines. But if you use that full quote that we underlined, we won't be able to fit everything. I want to thank you so much for letting me know you can write small. But I think that maybe you should tag Jones in, because Jones had a good idea. Jones, you
Yes,
say
ma'am.
that kites
Kites were invented in China 15,000 years ago.
were invented in China thousands of years ago. Is that correct, Jones?
Yes.
Maybe I can't see.
So, I think that's a great sentence, and I think that's a sentence that we all can use to answer number one.
Okay, small.
So, right, yes, you can write small, you say I have to write small, and my handwriting is not the best, guys.
I don't have no more room.
Where is it?
So if you don't have any more room,
Oh, okay.
you can extend it to the bottom of the page and just put one and put the rest of your answer. And I know everybody's gonna be done with writing their sentence down once they put their pencils down. Thank you, Jones.
Okay.
Thank you, Jemiah. Thank you, Kenyatta. Just have one more. Just let me
I
tighten up.
got a question.
Huh?
What is that
What is
at the
that?
end? Cause you
Thank
kind
you.
of wrote in cursive